everyone. I'm Kimberly Guilfoyle, along with Juan Williams, Jesse Waters, Dana Perino, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. We begin with big breaking news. It's official. Kanye West turning Hollywood and the liberal music world upside down, pledging his full-throated support and love for President Trump. The rapper tweeting, "You don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make me not love him. We are both dragon energy. He is my brother. I love everyone. I don't agree with everything anyone does. That's what makes us individuals, and we have the right to independent thought." He also tweeted a selfie and a MAGA hat. Well, as you can imagine, his support is appreciated by the president. Trump responding to the rapper on Twitter, writing, "Thank you, Kanye. Very cool." Sarah Sanders was even asked about it at the press briefing today. Seriously.
Kanye West has been in the news lately for supporting the president and expressing his admiration for the president.
Covering all range of topics today.
I'm curious whether the president has reached out to Kanye West and whether he'd be willing to meet with him at the White House.
I don't know of any conversation that they've had over the last week or so. I'll keep you posted if that changes anytime. Matthew? 2 weeks. Sorry, I know they met during the transition. That's the only meeting I'm aware of that's taken place or conversation before everybody has a meltdown.
And that's what we said on the show yesterday at Trump Tower transition time. But needless to say, the internet freaking out over this with comments like, "I never needed a photo of Kanye with a MAGA hat on, and I still don't." And then Donald Trump and Kanye speaking over Twitter, "Welcome to 2018. So, does everyone believe this is legit, or is this the ultimate trolling going on? Greg, you have some answers, not all of them.
I know that this is actually a bigger deal than just what's happening on Twitter. It's a big deal because what you're seeing is a collapsing of a world of conventional assumptions where people are supposed to stay in their boxes. And if you get out of your box, there is generally an online mob that will come after you for your political beliefs or any beliefs. And what he's doing right now, which is kind of inspirational, and I actually do think it's a fairly big deal. It's bigger than the Roseanne thing. This guy has 18 million followers, and they watch E! And Bravo. This is a world that, like, it's a different world that he's reaching out to, and it's kind of heroic when I know personally musicians and actors and just regular people who are punished for offering a counter narrative, any kind of counter narrative, and he's basically standing up and he's saying, "I'll take the slings and arrows. I'm okay with it. I'm big enough." I returned to the Candace Owen thing when he defended her. He was supporting her not for ideas, but for her guts. And he was still targeted, which shows that there is a mob out there that wants to silence you if you leave your box. And what he's doing, and what a lot of people are doing, classical liberals from the Dave Rubins and the Sam Harrises and the Joe Rogans in the podcast world, they are leaving their boxes. And they're daring people to come with them. People are leaving the intellectual conformity, and he's he's celebrating it. The tweets are a celebration, I think.
All right, well, fantastic. So, Dana, welcome back.
Thanks.
Yes,
you guys are going to have to catch me up on this story.
There's a family called the Kardashians.
Like, what has happened to the Five in the last 3 days when I haven't been here? I think... Look, I have got a personal feeling about Kanye West, and what he said about George W. Bush during Katrina was outrageous, and maybe he wouldn't say that again today. But it was a terrible thing to do to somebody. And actually what would have been really brave would have been going after the real culprits, as in the local and state government that did not help the African-American people of New Orleans.
Absolutely.
And so I'll just leave that there. I also think, and in addition to all the things that Greg said, I think it's a great way to get publicity before your album comes out.
No, 100%. So that's
I'm not saying that it's not real
or not genuine.
I think it can be both.
That the timing could be,
sure.
auspicious.
I don't think he needs publicity for his albums.
Yeah.
I have no
They
idea.
sell pretty well on their own.
Jesse, also welcome back. You guys did a
you.
great job yesterday.
Thank you.
That organization.
Nice apron.
yes.
Thank you very much.
So, all right. So, what do you make of this? You know, because it's true. He was there. We showed the footage yesterday in the beginning part of the show that he was at Trump Tower. He was at transition. He was expressive then, welcoming a meeting with the president, and felt like he was at the time candidate Trump, but felt that he was listening to his voice, wanted to talk and do outreach. There's nothing wrong with that. So, what is this? An extension of it, or is there something else going on, or combination?
I'm not as cynical as Dana. I'm a little more hopeful for Kanye. I think Kanye's matured since he said what he said about George W. Bush and Katrina, and I think he would agree now. The new loving Kanye would look back on that and probably not like that, because he also said he loves Hillary. And I think he's trying to lean forward with love and not say, if I like this person, it doesn't mean I hate their opponent. And I can't say it any better than Greg Gutfeld just said it. I think that was perfect. I think you can't underestimate what's going on here culturally and politically. And he's shattering the paradigm of us against them, of the tribes. We're all against each other. We hate each other. And it's a new phenomenon because people have not really expressed themselves like this. You've never seen someone at this level of a celebrity shock and awe the public to such an extent where people are going, what is happening? He must be mentally ill.
Yeah, that's what
he
they're
has
saying.
said something that has blown people's minds. They actually think he needs to see a doctor. And remember, that's what they said about Trump because he's got so much dragon blood or whatever. He sounds like Charlie Sheen.
Dragon energy.
Once in a while, people come along and they break the mold. Kanye's one of them. Donald Trump is one of them. He breaks the conventional wisdom. And
They're both
it's really
entrepreneurs and
refreshing
businessmen
to
as
hear.
well.
Yes, and let's also remember, Black Americans, not all of them, Black Americans liked Donald Trump before he became a politician. You've seen pictures of him. He was, in the boxing game. He was out, at nighttime taking lots of pictures with other celebrities. And people admired his entrepreneurship, his flashiness, his style and his wealth, and the women that he hung around with. And things changed when he became political, but he was admired for that by a lot of people in different communities. And now the fact that he's come out and, he's said some things that have angered people in the Black community, that doesn't mean you can't change as a person. Doesn't mean, you have to leave that person.
Sure.
But I think Trump has matured just as much as Kanye.
And by that you mean the wonderful, wives that he has had.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that are, oh my God. Ivana, Melania.
I mean, he's a staple
Marla.
in, New York society
Nice.
for many, many years.
Yes, all right. Okay, so Juan, have you recovered from Jesse?
I'm trying my best. But I think this is such a superficial conversation because I think Kanye West is the same guy that, as Dana said, was insulting Republicans a minute ago in a way that I thought was unfair. And now he comes back, and I guess there's always going to be a market for people who say, well, but now he likes Trump, so we're going to rally to Kanye. Well, look, even his wife said, hey, Kanye, you don't agree with all of his policies. And then Kanye West said, yeah, that's true, but it doesn't matter because I also like Hillary, but it doesn't matter that I like somebody's policies. He's got the dragon energy or the drag whatever. And, it's just so silly at a time when in America we've got Black women on a golf course in Pennsylvania being the police called to get them off, or the Starbucks situation, or the young man who was shot in his grandmother's backyard in Sacramento. And instead of focusing on real issues impacting race in our country, we're focusing on Kanye West, who says it's not about anything of substance. It's just all of a sudden with a record coming out, he likes Donald Trump. So I guess all the Donald Trump folks now will go buy Kanye West records.
But I mean, that's the kind of response that Kanye expects, which is to dismiss his beliefs. This is what happens. If you step out of a box, somebody's going to accuse you of opportunism. They're going to bring up your past. They're going to tell you that you're probably just some kind of, marketer. That's what happens. He knows that.
Well, I'm not
he doesn't
saying
care.
I think your analysis is way off here. This is not about stepping out of a box.
Right.
What I'm saying to you is if this guy was like Supreme Court Justice Thomas, if he was Tom Sowell, if he was someone who was making
He's only 40.
let me just finish.
then his
If
opinion
he
would
was
count?
someone who was making a substantive argument about how Donald Trump, in fact, is a beneficial force in American life, especially in terms of Black people, and that Black people haven't all been brainwashed.
But you have a quarrel with what he said because you don't like the way he said it. He's entitled, like everybody at this table,
He's
is entitled to
say
their
whatever he
individual
wants,
opinion.
Kimberly. The argument is that he has no
So he may
argument.
not be Thomas Sowell, but he still is somebody who's an entrepreneur and somebody who's been very successful.
That's
in the
fine.
Black
That has
community
nothing
people
to
admire and
do
look
with
up to.
suddenly he's now a fan of Donald Trump. Where'd this come from?
Well,
less
what
of-
I'm
it's-
saying is he's entitled to his opinion.
Sure.
What difference does it
We
make?
thought
You
it was
don't
great
have
when
to
Roseanne did
criticize
it. Now we
Right.
don't.
I think it's less about Donald Trump, and it's more about with the Candace Owens thing. He's celebrating people for being independent thinkers.
Right.
You expect someone like Candace Owens, from her demographic, young black female in America, to think the way a lot of other young black female in America think about Donald Trump, and that's usually about 90% one way. He's celebrating her bravery. He's celebrating her independence of thought and stepping out of the box and standing up to the mob who comes after her for saying something that a lot of people in her group don't believe in.
But
So
Jesse,
it's just more about groupthink
Jesse,
and
it's
breaking
not.
through that and celebrating people's individuality and expression.
This is what Gregory was saying. But what I'm saying to you is it's not about groupthink. If Candace Owens or Kanye want to make an argument, I'm glad to hear it. But that's not what they're saying. What they're saying, I mean, it's like John Legend today tweeted out this thing about stop calling the cops, will you, on black people. And then everybody says, oh, that's a racist comment because blacks have a higher crime, et cetera. But you stop and think about it, Jesse. If you and I are walking down the street and some cop stops beating me in the head, you're going to say, wait a second, why are you hitting Juan?
I understand that
Well, they know
argument,
you
but I
want.
I'm not
also
so
think
sure
this
Jesse
is not
would say
about
that.
policy.
No. And they know you want. I mean, come on.
This isn't just about
By the
policy.
way, the New York cops
This is about
are a
independent
minority
thinking.
force.
Yeah, listen, it's just let people have their own opinions and their viewpoints. It what makes this country diverse, and it shouldn't matter what skin color you have. You shouldn't adopt a certain ideology or philosophy and then be criticized and bashed by other people. I think it's very unfair. The Supreme Court appears to be set to hand Trump a big win on his travel ban. That big decision next on The Five.
Na 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 na.